If you are anything like me, you're probably really bad at remembering people's birthdays. Well, I'm going to be using code to solve that problem. I'm going to show you guys how you can use C++ to create a program that reads a text document full of birthdays of people that you've saved, and then will remind you of that person's birthday. And we're going to place this program in our computer startup folder so that it runs every single day. So to follow along, I'm going to be using Visual Studio to create this birthday reminder program. You can use any code editor you want, but it can't be an online one because we're actually going to need access to our finished program, and we're going to place it in our computer's startup folder. I recommend using Visual Studio 2019. And if you're doing that, I'm going to click on Create a New Project. And I'm going to use C++ for this, like I mentioned. And I'm going to start with an empty project. I'm going to click Next. And I'm going to rename this Birthday Bot Tutorial. And then I'm going to click Create. So now we have a completely empty project. The first thing we need to do is create the code file. So I'm going to right click on source files. I'm going to right click on source files, click add, and then new item. And I'm going to add a CPP file, and I'm going to rename that file to main.cpp. And all our code that we're going to be adding today is going to go here. We're also going to add that text document that saves people's birthdays, like I mentioned. So I'm going to right click on the solution right here, and I'm going to click Open Folder in File Explorer. So here's where our files are. Here's our code file we just added. And here we're going to need to create a text document for the birthdays. And I'm just going to call this data.text. All right, now this part is very important. In order for our program to understand what we type in and what birthdays we're writing down, we have to use an exact format. And the format I'm going to be using today is going to be this format. I'm going to be saving names like this. So I'm going to be having a name followed by a comma, and then the birthday will be a 10-digit code following that. So month, dash, day, dash, 4 digits for the year. This is very important. If you're going to follow along, you'll have to use this exact format. And you could theoretically use any format you would want, but this is what the format I'm going to show for this specific program. So go ahead and add at least 2 different example names to your program. They don't have to be real people yet. Make one of them today's date, just so we can make sure our program is working, and make the other one a different date. So now once you're done with that, go ahead and save your data text document. And now we're going to start with our programming. So to create our birthday reminder bot, we're going to need to create the main function. So int main, and then we're going to return 0. And in order to make this program work, we're going to need to borrow a lot of libraries. So you're going to add #include iostream. That will let us do console input and output. We're going to add include fstream, and that's going to let us open a file and extract its data. We'll also need include ctime and include chrono. Those 2 libraries will help us get the current date, which is essential for our program. Lastly, we're going to be using a lot of strings, so I'm going to add include string. So now here's the first thing we need to do. For our program to work, it needs to be self-aware of what the current date is. And now in order to do that, there is a function called ctimes. This is a really useful function because it's going to give you a formatted message of the current date that will have this format: day of the week, month, the current day, and it also has some unnecessary data like the second, the minute, the hour. We're not going to be using that. And then it has the year. So ctimes will give us this string message right here. But in order for it to work, it needs to know how many seconds have passed since January 1st, 1970. So let's get that. Time, t, seconds is equal to, and this code is kind of complicated, and I actually forgot something. We need to also add up here using namespace standard to specify that we are using the standard library, and using namespace chrono to tell the compiler we're also using the chrono library. So now let's get the seconds. Seconds is equal to system clock : 2 time t. You're going to open two parentheses, and in the parentheses you're going to add system underscore clock : now with two more parentheses. Wow, that was a long, complicated line of code, but just remember, all this is doing is it is getting the amount of seconds that have passed since January 1st, 1970, and we're going to save that in this variable. Now, the ctime function needs to have a C string in order to store all this text. So let's create that. Char, and I'm going to call it date text. And this will be an array. It will have 30 different letters by default. So now we add date text to the function call, since this is going to be the C string that receives the text. We need to specify to the function how big this C string is. So that's just going to be size of date text. Or since a char is 1 byte and this is an array of 30 chars, you can simply just put 30 here instead. Finally, we're going to pass a pointer to the seconds variable. So, and seconds, like that. Now, this just got us a formatted message for the current date. Let's go ahead and output that message just to make sure that we did everything correctly. And we did do everything correctly. We got that exact formatted message. Obviously, I did this from a few days ago, actually exactly yesterday, but we did in fact get the formatted message here. The next thing we need to do is, from this message format, we need to extract the current month, day, and year. And like I said, the hour and the day of the week is irrelevant, but we need to extract 3 numbers from this text. And this is going to be a little bit challenging. Here's how we do that. Let's start with the day. We want to extract the day from this log message. And for that, we need to know something about strings, which I have illustrated with Paint. Here is that exact formatted message that I gave an example of. This is a string. It's just a small array of letters. Every array in C++ has every item, in an array has a number associated with it. So F, the first item in the array, is position 0. R is position 1. I is position 2. And this space in between the I and the N is position 3. So knowing that a string is just a list of letters, each with a numeric position, what we can do is we can extract small bits of the entire string message in order to get the current date, time, and or the current year, day, and month. Let's start with the current day. So string day text is going to be, I'm going to open 2 parentheses, and we're going to extract a small part of the entire message. So in these parentheses, I'm going to add date text. Where are we going to extract this text? Well, we're actually going to do it at position 8. Position 8 is the first digit in the day, and the day is always formatted with 2 letters. So for our code, we're going to take from date text, we're going to start at position 8, and we're going to extract exactly 2 different characters. Now we want this as a number, so let's convert that string day text into a number. So int the actual day as a number is atoi day text dot c stir. So the atoi function, really useful. It just takes a C string and converts it to a number. Let's make sure that we did that correctly. C out day, and we should just get 11 on the console, or actually 12. Yep, and we get 12 to the console. We're going to do the same procedure with the year. So string year text, we're going to take it from the date text, starting at position, and I've already done this for you, 20, since all the way over here, this is position 20. No need to count for yourself. And the year text is exactly 4 characters. Now let's convert that into a number. The current year is ATOI, year text.c string. And again, I'm going to do a lot of output. I'm just going to do cout year and make sure that we got that correct. And we did 2022 as a number. Now, unfortunately, extracting the month from the entire message is a little bit harder because, as you can see, the month is a word. It's not a number. So I can't just extract the characters and convert it to a number. We're going to have to do a little bit more thinking here. So first, let's grab the month. String month text is going to be taken from the date text, starting at position 4, and it's going to take 3 letters. Now we're going to use a series of if statements. If the month text is equal to January, then our month number, which I forgot to make, int month, then the current month is going to be 1. Else, if the month text is February, then the month is going to be 2. And I'm going to do this 10 more times, so I'm going to pause the video. After a little bit of coding work, you should have something like this. I've added all the rest of the months here. And this code here takes a 3-letter abbreviation of the month, and it will store a number from 1 to 12 in our month variable based off of that abbreviation. So go ahead and just pause and make sure that your text or your code is the exact same as mine here. So now we've done the hardest part of this video for sure, which was finding the current date and then from that formatted message extracting the day, year, and month. So let's make sure everything worked correctly and just output that date. So I'm going to output month, then slash day slash year, and then a new line. And we should have the exact same date formatted right here. There we go. And we got that perfectly. Definitely the hardest part of this video. Now what we're going to need to do is we need to process our text file, and we need to check if one of these dates matches the current date that we just calculated. So for that, we're going to need to open the file. I'm going to create a file variable, fstream file, and we're going to open the file using the name file.open. And here you got to put the exact same name of your text document, data.text. Let's do a quick check. Let's make sure that that file opened correctly and that there was no name conflict. If file.fail, then we're going to output a message. So cout error, could not open the file. And let's also end the program with a different code. So return -1. This will end the program, and this code indicates that an error occurred, since 0 is the only code that means it worked correctly. But let's not just do this. If we do this, the program's going to end immediately, and we won't know that our program's not working. So let's go ahead and pause and let the user enter something in to acknowledge that the error occurred. So cout, enter any key to continue. And then we're going to create a temporary key variable. TMP is just short for temporary. And we're going to input the temporary variable. So this variable has no other purpose other than it just forces the user to enter something in. That will pause the screen long enough for them to read this message. Now, if the file opened correctly, now we can start processing each individual line of it. So let's go ahead and create the line variable, string line or current line, and we're going to set that to an empty string. Now, to iterate through each individual line in the file, I'm going to add this, while getLine file line. This is a while loop that is going to run once for every line in our text document, which for now is just going to be 2 times. And let's make sure that worked. I'm going to output whatever line of text was entered or whatever line of text was detected. And what we should see in our program is an exact copy of what we put in the text document, which is what I see here. And we can go ahead and get rid of the current logged day since we don't need that anymore. So up here, I'm going to get rid of that. So now what we need to do, this is the second hard part of this video, but after that, the rest of it is easy. What we need to do is we need to take this entire line and we need to split it by the name of the data entry and the birthday. So let's start with the name. So string name, actually, first let's talk about the format. Here's why we're using a comma. The comma separates the birthday from the name. So if we can find the position of the comma, and by position I mean its numeric position. Is it the first item? Is it the fifth item in our list? Is it the seventh? Whatever that position is, if we can find that position, then what we can do is grab all the letters that occur before that position, and that will be our name. So let's find where the comma is. Int comma position is line.find. I'm going to enter the comma character. Actually, I'm going to use single quotes for this. Then comma 0. So the find function will find a certain letter starting at a certain position. I put 0 since I want us to start searching from the very beginning of the line. So now that finds where the comma is. What we can do now is use the substring function in order to separate the data from the name and the birthday. So let's get the name. String name is equal to line.substring. Like I said, that just takes a big line of text and takes a small part. But it needs to know where we're going to start. So we're going to start extracting the text at position 0, so from the very beginning. And how many characters are we going to take? Well, we're going to take exactly up to the comma position. So I'm going to add comma position. So that extracted the name. Now what we need to do is we need to extract the birthday. And what makes this easy, actually, and I know I'm pulling up this window a lot, what makes this easy is the birthday. If you format it the exact same, the birthday always has exactly 10 different characters. So knowing that, we can say string the birthday text is equal to the line.substring starting at 1 past the comma, and we're going to take 10 characters. Let's make sure that this worked. I'm going to output the name followed by a space followed by the birthday text, and we should get basically everything we had before except for the dashes we added. And this will just show us that we processed everything correctly. And that's exactly what we got. We got the exact same data, except the dashes are gone. So we've successfully extracted each part. So now the name is good. We don't need to do anything with that. But from the birthday text, we need to split this into a month, day, and year. So let's start with the day. Actually, in our format, we start with the month. So let's start with the month. The month is equal to the birthday text dot substring. We're going to grab a small part of the birthday text. We're going to start at the beginning of it, and we're going to grab 2 characters. So that is going to grab us both these ones here. Of course, that is a string, but we want a number, so we're going to use the same atoi function from earlier. And atoi only works on C strings, so I'm going to add dot C stir. So that got us the month. Now we're going to grab the day. Int day is atoi birthday text dot substring. This time we're going to start at position 3, so that's 2 characters letter, and then skip the dash right there. So start at position 3, and then we're still going to grab 2 characters, then dot C stir. Finally, the year. Int year is atoi birthday text dot substring. We're going to start at position 6, and this time we're going to grab 4 characters and add, as always, C stir for C string. So now we have numbers representing the month, the day, and the year that was found in our text document. So let's just do a test. Let's say cout name was born in, and then we're going to add those different variables. Month, slash day slash and then year. Let's make sure that this works for each individual line in our text document. John Doe was born in date. Mart Smith was born in date. So now I want to congratulate you. I understand that this has been a pretty complicated coding tutorial, and of course I'm going to put all the code in the description, but you've definitely finished the hardest part of this tutorial, which was first finding the current date, and then from that message extracting the day, year, and month, and then going through the text document and being able to extract each individual name and each individual birthday. So now we got nothing but the easy stuff ahead. All we need to do is just see if these variables are the same as the variables from above. If the current day is the same as the birthday, then we'll know to notify the user. First, we got a naming conflict though. Month, day, and year are the exact same variable names as the ones up here, day, year, month. These represent the current day. These represent the birthday, so I'm just going to add a B in front of them. B month, and then B day, and then B year. And now let's just check and see if they're same. If the birth month is the same as the current month, and the birthday is the same as the current day, then we know we have a birthday. So let's add a message. Cout, it is plus name, it is name's birthday. And then I'm going to end that line. And now let's also tell just for fun, let's also tell the user how old this person is turning. And man, if you can like tell somebody exactly how old they're turning, they'll be really impressed, even though they had no idea that you spent probably hours of your time making a program that would do that for you. So cout name is turning, and their current age is simply the current year minus the birth year. So year minus the birth year. That's how old they're turning. Let's make sure this worked. So in our text document, I intentionally made John Doe's birthday the current date, and I arbitrarily set his birth year as 2000. So since it's 2022, this message should say it's John Doe's birthday, he's turning 22. Let's run that. It is John Doe's birthday. John Doe is turning 22. Now the program naturally pauses because we're running it in Visual Studio, but let's make sure that the finished program also pauses. So we're going to do the same trick from earlier. Char temp cin temp. And that will require you to enter a letter before you can move on. And let's tell the user, cout, enter a key to continue. So now let's do this one more time. I'm going to click run. It is John Doe's birthday, enter a key to continue. I enter the key, the program ends. Let's do a little bit more testing. Let's actually make Mart Smith's birthday the same date so that we know the program works if two different people have the same birthday. And let's go ahead and add a few more names. We'll add 2 more names of people who don't have a current birthday. So this random person is going to be born in February 44, so we know that will never happen. And this will be Bobby Joe. Yeah, that makes total sense. Oh, has this been Joe the whole time? Wow, this has been Joe the whole time. I've been reading John Doe, but it's John Joe. I can't believe I did that. John Doe. Bobby Joe. And then I'm just going to call this person, Martha. Martha's going to have a birthday of, let's say, April 1st. And again, this message format has to be 2 digits. So make sure you add those zeros. Let's close the program and make sure we get 2 different birthday notifications. It's John Doe's birthday. John Doe is 22. Enter a key. It is Mart Smith's birthday. Mart Smith is turning 19. Enter a key to continue. And after that, we get no more. Congratulations, your program is done. Now all we got to do is install it to your computer. So to do that, what we need to do is first build this in release mode. Release mode is a slightly faster version. So this is going to make your program run a little faster. Click the build button and we can just skip through all this. Now that a faster version has been built, let's go to click on the top button, Solution for Birthday Bot Tutorial, right click and click Open Folder. We're going to go to the release folder and we're going to grab this exe file. This is our program. And I'm going to add this to our desktop. So anywhere on the desktop is fine. Now I'm going to grab inside the Birthday Bot Tutorial file, I'm going to grab the text document for the birthdays and move that to the desktop as well. And by this point, we're actually done with Visual Studio, so you can close it out. So now that we've completed this program, here's how we install it. I'm going to put it inside of a folder, and I'm going to call this Birthday Bot, and I'm going to add both of these inside. Now I'm going to create a shortcut for the program, and I'm going to move this shortcut to my desktop. So of course you can run it like this, but of course we want this program to run automatically. So we're going to place this shortcut inside of the Windows Startup folder so that it runs automatically as soon as your computer turns on and you're logged in. And this is going to be a really convenient way of checking people's birthdays without you even doing anything. So where's the Windows Startup folder? Well, that is the folder, and this is a long directory. It's C, users, your user or your profile, app data, and if you don't see app data, you're going to have to go under your view settings for File Explorer and make sure that hidden items are on. So open app data, roaming, Microsoft, Windows, Start menu, Programs, and then Startup. And so oddly enough, I only have one other thing in here. So right next to anything else you have there, go ahead and add your shortcut. And congratulations, that's it. Your program is installed, and now every single time you turn your computer on, it's going to run this program. The program's going to go through this text document and then check if one of these people has a birthday on the current date. So now all you need to do is fill this with the people that matter to you. So get rid of all this example data and actually put people's birthdays in it. Just make sure you follow this exact format. Name, comma, no spaces, and a 10-digit code at the end. Thank you for watching.